is the Doctor's greatest companion. To some, it's Sarah Jane Smith. To others, it's Rose Tyler. To me, it's River Song. And to a few people, it's Nardo? Yeah, alright then, fair enough. Those are all fine choices, but it could also be argued that it's actually the TARDIS. The Doctor's time-travelling machine has been by their side since day one, and as we learned in The Doctor's Wife, their connection is far more special than we thought. But despite it being a constant in the show, there are certain things that both casual and hardcore fans might get wrong about this most iconic of phone boxes. So with that in mind, I'm Ellie with Who Culture, here with 10 things everyone always gets wrong about the TARDIS. Number 10. The round things don't have a function. The round things, as the 10th and 11th Doctors affectionately call them, are called roundels, and are circular or hexagonal design elements within the walls of the TARDIS control room. It's often forgotten that these roundels are more than just decorative, and that they've had many different functions over the decades. The roundels have been used to access the TARDIS's interior circuitry, to hold lights, and the 3rd Doctor even used one of them as a scanner. The 1st Doctor kept brandy within one of the roundels, and River Song had an entire minibar tucked away inside one. Don't tell Dad. By the time of the 10th Doctor, both he and his next incarnation had forgotten the uses for the roundels, but expressed love for them when they saw them in the War Doctor's TARDIS. The 12th Doctor lamented the lack of round things in his control room, wondering if he had misplaced them, but he made sure to correct this problem later on. Number 9. Why the chameleon circuit was never fixed. The chameleon circuit is meant to change the TARDIS's outer shell to blend in with its surroundings. However, the Doctor's TARDIS is locked in the form of a 1960s blue police box. But it turns out that this may be by design, not by chance. The chameleon circuit did work during the Doctor and Susan's first trip to Earth's moon in the distant past, where the TARDIS disguised itself as a boulder. In other expanded media stories, it has also become a Corinthian column, a kiosk, a shed, and a Christmas tree. The knowledge that the TARDIS was stuck in its current form seemed to genuinely distress the First Doctor and Susan, but over time he became nonchalant and actually liked it. In the comic book Hunters of the Burning Stone, it was revealed that the 11th Doctor travelled back in time to sabotage the chameleon circuit, so that the TARDIS would be stuck as a police box, ensuring that the image of the TARDIS would stick in Earth's memory as a symbol of protection. The broken chameleon circuit is usually made out to be an accidental flaw that the Doctor can't or won't fix, but actually it might have been a plan all along. Number 8. The TARDIS can't be invaded. The assembled hordes of Genghis Khan couldn't get through that door, and believe me, they've tried. That's what the 9th Doctor says to Rose to reassure her of her safety once she's inside the TARDIS. But what's the most important rule in the show? The Doctor lies. Though the TARDIS does have many systems that protect the Doctor and their companions, such as its shields, which protect people within a few feet of the exterior, or Emergency Program 1, which returns a companion home if the Doctor is in mortal danger, that doesn't mean it's an impenetrable fortress. In fact, it's been shown that the TARDIS can be accessed by unsavoury forces quite easily, most recently during the 13th Doctor's time when the Kasavin, the Jadoon, and the Eternal Zelin managed to breach its walls. A Kablan robot managed this too, but we'll let him off the hook because he was one of the good uns. The Sinister House even managed to steal the TARDIS's matrix without much effort, so perhaps the 14th and 15th Doctors should get to work on buffing their ship's defences. Number 7. A new TARDIS can be built. Despite being referred to as machines and ships, TARDISes are so much more than that. They're actually organic entities that are grown, not built. In the short story The Nameless City, it's said that TARDISes are grown from seeds that were stolen from a race that existed at the dawn of time. In a deleted scene from Journey's End, the 10th Doctor hands the Meta-Crisis Doctor a chunk of TARDIS and tells him to grow his own. This supposedly takes thousands of years to do, but the Dr. Donna provides a faster workaround. Though this scene was cut from the final episode, Russell T Davies has stated that he believes it still happened, cheekily noting that one day he'll go and put it back in. Well, that was back in 2008, but now he's showrunner again, he could very well make good on that promise. The comic book, The Lost Dimension, notes that on Gallifrey, all TARDISes are grown in a special location called the Time Travel Capsule Growth Foundry, which the 11th Doctor refers to as the TARDIS shipyards. It's difficult to imagine a TARDIS growing from a seed like some sort of bizarre plant, but clearly that's exactly what happens. Number 6. The mass of the TARDIS. One of the rarely discussed aspects of the TARDIS is its weight, and that's probably because the answer seems wildly inconsistent. In the Day of the Doctor, a unit helicopter easily picks up the TARDIS with a crane and flies it to the National Gallery in London. Yet in Flatline, something has caused the exterior of the TARDIS to shrink with the Doctor inside, and he eliminates enough of the weight for Clara Oswald to carry it in her bag. The 12th Doctor also states that if the TARDIS landed with its full weight on the Earth, it would fracture the surface of the planet. In the classic series, the TARDIS was said to weigh 50,000 tons in Alzarius' gravity, the home planet of Adric, and in Castra Valva, 17,000 tons of thrust were jettisoned for the TARDIS to escape Event 1, also known as the Big Bang. You'd be forgiven for thinking that the TARDIS simply weighs as much as a standard Earth police box. Perhaps that's true on the outside, and like the ship's size, its mass is a case of heavier on the inside. Number 5. TARDIS or Tardis? Though the word TARDIS was originally intended to be the name of the Doctor's ship and not an acronym in the same way you would name a sailboat, that uppercase spelling of the word has become the standard way of identifying it. However, some of the earliest Doctor Who publications, such as annuals and news articles, would frequently use the lowercase spelling, which wasn't technically incorrect back then. But surprisingly, this is something that people still get wrong today. Hell, there are BBC news articles as recent as 2022 that use the lowercase spelling in the headline and the main text. Sure, in universe it's not like the word TARDIS is spelt out on screen all the time. We do get a glimpse when we see the TARDIS's plaque in Amy's Choice, but every word is uppercase here, so who knows how the Doctor would write it themselves. Number 4. Where that wheezing noise comes from. That distinctive grinding and wheezing sound is the TARDIS's dematerialization circuit engaging. Ace once referred to it as a key being dragged along a wire, while the Moment, as portrayed by the Bad Wolf / Rose Tyler, said that the wheezing sound gives hope to all who hear it, no matter how lost they are. When the TARDIS Matrix was forced into Idris in The Doctor's Wife, she used the sound to identify herself to the 11th Doctor. Linda's Elton Pope called the sound the most beautiful sound in the world, and Kate Stewart even had the sound as her ringtone. In other words, you'd think that this sound is just a normal part of the TARDIS, so it was quite strange when River Song claimed that the noise only happened because the Doctor left the brakes on. God, I love her. Now, this could very well be true, but other TARDISes, including the Masters, have made that sound in the past, and furthermore, the Doctor has deliberately landed the TARDIS in silent mode on several occasions. Once in the Oval Office to avoid drawing attention to himself, and once on Trenzalore to avoid making a fuss, despite the Doctor's personal belief that the noise is brilliant. Number 3. The TARDIS only needs one pilot. Nearly 60 years of the Doctor being the sole pilot of the TARDIS may have led casual viewers to believe that this is typical, or even proper, and yet the Doctor often has to run around the console, flipping switches and pressing levers before falling back into a seat or having to grab the console for fear of falling, proving that it's far from a one-person job. In Journey's End, the TARDIS is shown towing the Earth back to its proper place in the universe. Sarah Jane Smith, Mickey Smith, Martha Jones, Captain Jack Harkness, and the Metacrisis Doctor each take a specific control, while the Doctor and Donna Noble, infused with Time Lord intelligence to become the Dr. Donna, hit occasional controls and supervise. Oh, and Jackie Tyler is told not to touch anything. Poor Jackie. Here, the TARDIS flew smoother and straighter than it had flown in quite some time. The fact that the TARDIS has a huge central console with so many buttons and keys is proof that more than a single pair of hands is required to operate it at maximum efficiency. This isn't to say that a single pilot can't drive the TARDIS smoothly though. I mean, River Song seems particularly skilled in this regard, possibly because she and the ship share a special connection as she was conceived on board. Have I mentioned how much I love her? Number 2. The TARDIS is merely a machine. Though the TARDIS certainly looks like a machine, that's far from the truth. Because of the manner of their creation, all TARDISes have some degree of sentience, and some are capable of independent thought. TARDISes can communicate with each other physically and can communicate with others, especially their pilots, non-verbally, if the person is skilled enough to realise the signs. At first, even the Doctor did not realise the sentient nature of his TARDIS, but over time began to realise that she was more than just a machine. He began referring to her as old girl. He saw that she had quirks, he talked to her, he comforted her, and he stroked her console, much to the amusement of Sarah Jane Smith and Rose Tyler. When the TARDIS Matrix was placed in the body of Idris, any doubt of her sentience was dispelled. She told the Doctor that she chose him as much as he chose her, lamented his habit of bringing home strays, and expressed sadness at the deaths of her sisters. She also demonstrated her feelings of affection for the Doctor, especially enjoying that he calls her sexy. Only when they're alone though. Number 1. There's only one type of TARDIS. In the very first episode of Doctor Who, Susan claims that she named the TARDIS and that she came up with the acronym Time and Relative Dimension in Space. However, there is evidence that the term was well known on Gallifrey before the first Doctor departed. Additionally, people who never met Susan, such as the War Chief and Lord President Barusa, are all familiar with the term. Plus, Bill Potts also noted that the acronym would only work in English. The term might be widely known because there are actually 160 different types of TARDISes. The Doctor's TARDIS is a Type 40 and is actually considered old and obsolete by many Time Lords the Doctor encounters. Type 1 TARDISes are considered the most dangerous. They were difficult to operate and would often develop minds of their own and roam the universe. Elsewhere, the Master has a Type 45 TARDIS with the ability to take control of other TARDISes, and the Monk had a Type 40 Mark IV, which was more advanced than the Doctor's. The show has never properly explored these alternate TARDISes, hence why many people don't even know about them, but hopefully it will one day. And that concludes our list. If you think we missed something, then do let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell so you never miss a Who Culture video again. Also, head over to Twitter and follow us there, and Instagram as well. And I can be found across various social medias just by searching Ellie Littlechild. Don't forget to also look out for Sean Ferrick and Dan the Meeks too. I've been Ellie with Who Culture, and in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.